Hey guys, it's Dave. Last video for the week. I'm gonna go through and create my watch list. Basically, I'm on my master list here. It continues to grow. I'm going through a transition right now, so these aren't all the names that I actually watch, but they're good for now. All right, so I have it organized by basically by percent change. Let's see what moved the most on Friday, and let's see where they are at. MSTR. I'm not super interested in it yet. Could be a potential short, especially on the volume, with it closing strong. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. MSTR might be a decent short, especially with Bitcoin accepting below this anchor VWAP from this most recent low that it did indeed garner and kind of look like a bear flag. MSTR. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the short list for this week. It continues to reject at this anchor VWAP from the all-time highs. What I would look for it to be executionable, if that's a word, is for price to accept below this anchor VWAP, which it kind of did. It did technically close below it. I want it spending more time below this anchor VWAP low. For it to confirm that sellers are in control. Until then, I'll just be watching. HIMS, oh, broke the low here. That's a pretty solid setup. What is that, down 8%? This is an anchor VWAP from this high volume gap up. It's hitting there, so it's an interesting level. What I would look for is for a bounce up to this 31-ish, 31, 32. Maybe you can initiate a short here on the breakdown and retest. So that looks pretty decent. Mara, kind of ranging here. I have alerts, old alerts, from these highs here. It's just in a zone, so I'm waiting for it to break either way. However, it's accepting below this level here that I've been watching, this 14. This is a lot of supply above head. So if this gets going downwards, I could see it continuing on. Root, finally, this thing has been, not finally, but finally, this thing's been a monster. But it's getting smoked. I'm not shorting this. It's been too strong. If anything, I would be looking for longs, but personally, I'm not looking for longs in this market. You can if you want. I'm not at the moment. TEM rejected at the anchor VWAP from this prior high. Not super interested in a short at the moment. Maybe it's going to end up filling this gap potentially. But I would wait for, I'm going to set an alert here. I would wait for this to break lower. Not on top of my list. This here, I did miss the initial short. So I've been saying, is this an oopsie? A look below and fail is going to trade all the way up here. Ended up being a bear flag. So what I am indeed looking for is some sort of bounce up to, I have a anchor VWAP from this high. I'll be looking for some sort of bounce up to this area. I'm going to say 182 to get my attention. Maybe initiate a bounce, put a stop loss above this high, and let's see where it goes. Otherwise, it could break this low and continue on down. I could see it tagging 1130 or so. So I'd be watching for that. LTBR, this broke this lows. This thing is pretty freaking choppy. I can see this. This can go. I could see it tagging 598, then maybe 5. I'm not getting, it's not at the top of my list. I don't want to add too many names. OKLO looks pretty similar here. I'm just gonna, what is this? Trade setup, range confluences. That was a note from before. Man, I got a lot of drawings on here. Sorry. This broke this low. I would watch for a retest in here. Okay. Maybe it wants to continue. I mean, heck, this might continue on down all the way to 17-ish, 1780. WBD, no. NNE, no. SMTC, accepting below. Maybe this 32 is coming in. Not my favorite. DAL, I would watch a break of this low here for a continuation down. Bear flag type look. see how much more supply wants to come out. Then maybe we can see even 37, not a top executionable one. I would watch for a break of this. I like Dell to the downside, especially if it wants to break this 87 low. We'll see how much, because that's a lot overhead. Hood rejected at the anchor view app again. This is number 2. So I'd watch this 35. It's not an excellent short in my opinion. PLTR at an interesting spot. I'm not super interested in a short in it just yet. It could be a potential, but I don't know. I'd rather wait for it to like reject this 8130, this anchor VWAP from this earnings report. As you can see, it likes to digest around it. So not a super short in my opinion right now. Roku rejected from the anchor VWAP high. And I got a lot of lines on here. Sorry, I need to clean that one up, I guess. Not my favorite. DV, I am looking for a potential continuation after closing below this low. So I have that on there. UAL, I would watch for, I think this would be some sort of bounce play around, I don't know, maybe around 74-ish. I'd be curious. RCL, bear flag, Netflix, under the anchor VWAP could be a potential short from this prior low, by the way. That is CCL underneath that low, right? It's individuals, participants, average market participant from this prior low are now feeling pressure on the, if you're long, you are now losing. Also, if it wants to lose this prior support area, I would be watching that as well. Otherwise, we could see 17, maybe. BTU, yikes, that's not the best look. I do like this as a short, actually. I'm going to put this here. I like this as a short, actually. We could go short 1340. Break these lows, watch for a retest of 1214. Maybe we get a little bounce. So break that, retest that, little bounce creates a higher low, and then we continue our lives on downwards, especially with all of this ahead. And then maybe we ultimately get to this 975-ish, and maybe 830. I would expect some bounces here and there, but overall that might be where we're going. Amazon, looking for a short here as well. Break of these lows. We'll see how low this wants to go. This is a top look short wise. Sound, this is another one that's been in consolidation that I'm looking for, how it wants to work. It tricked me out. I was like, oh, maybe this right here on Friday is a higher low and it's going to tighten up and then break out of this and go retest that. No, did not happen. Just continues to chop sideways. So a break of this low would have these quote unquote trapped longs. Could be even more potential supply with all of this overhead too. So I do like Sound a lot for a short. Knox, interesting. Yeah, we would need some acceptance below these. Not my cup of tea just yet. ALK, this might continue on. I kind of like that. We'll see. I don't have that planned out. That's too sloppy for my eyes to look at real quick. LEU, still at an interesting area of support. Not super interested in it at the moment. Maybe if it wants to break that on volume, but that's a maybe. That's sloppy. I need to clean that up. Sorry. Hang on. You know what? Let me just do this real quick. I'll remove all of my drawings and we can start fresh. I would look for a break of this low. That might be a decent short for the week. AAL, watch for a break of this low. So you can see my pattern here. I'm watching for a break of these lows for a continuation on downwards, right? Bros bounced again at this anchor VWAP from the earnings. We'll see what it wants to do. Again, I'm not looking for longs though, so if you're looking for longs, this video might not be for you, which is okay. I won't be mad. Price is accepting below, I think. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, below this anchor VWAP from this low. Seller. So cruise lines are getting smoked here a little bit. Court, same thing. You see a lot of these bear flags, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for the week. A lot of bear flags. We'll see if the people who have been calling the AMD bottom are actually right. I've been calling it for like a few months, I feel like. ALAB, I've been watching a break of this low, watching for a break of this low. So was it court or was it CORH? Yeah. I'll be watching for that, and maybe we can get a gap fill down to like 55 or so. Nice, like 8-9% move or so what. So I'd be curious about that. Core. I'd watch this around here to see if we want to go retest that. Maybe we get a bounce off of it. MWA, meh. MS, meh. ALGT, I would look for. So a lot of these, the ones I'm going meh, they already had their moves, in my opinion. So what I'm looking for is these like consolidations that are not already extended to the downside, that give a good risk reward, in my opinion. Otherwise, I would have already liked to be in these names that are already moving, but I'm not. So I look for names that are kind of like laggards to the downside after the more volatile names. Like, look at that, damn, get smoked. And then if things want to continue downwards, so we shouldn't be shocked that we got a bounce here. This is a prior supply or support area. So I'm looking for consolidation areas and fresh breaks of consolidation areas to capture the beginning of a move with a nice risk reward. Nothing that's super skewed. I'm looking for at least a 2-to-1. And so if it's not, if it's not consolidating near the lows, or if the move has already happened to where it's like taking up 50%. So let me give you an example. What was I just looking at? Like this, anchor VWAP number one, I want it spending time below this anchor VWAP. Also, like the risk reward, you have to have a rather large stop if you're going to place it on the daily. You might be able to trade it off the 65, but that doesn't really give you too much. And then you would have 1509. So basically $1 to get to like $1.50. That's not the best risk reward. It's like a 1 to 1.5, especially if you're anticipating a bounce here. So you would have to want to hold on a little bit longer. But I would rather get into names that are consolidating, that are tight, like I did in Dash and have a tighter, smaller risk reward. I'm watching a retest on Avgo. I like this look. I want what I want. Market doesn't care what you want, by the way. We didn't know that. 178. I want a bounce to 178 to set a lower high versus this, and then a continuation on downwards might be decent. NVIDIA, I'm not touching that for now. Vive, no. Oxy, man. SMCI, that might break. If that breaks, I like the red. I would target 27. I would watch that area there. We'll see what happens. Nope. Run. Oh yeah. I like the run here. This reminds me of my XRX trade. I do like run to the downside, by the way. If you haven't gotten the memo yet. ZS, okay, hell, okay, love, okay, ALKS, downtrending, TGTX, okay, MPRE, This would be a lot of supply overhead if it broke these lows. So I would be curious. Walmart, looks interesting. Watching for the break of these lows. SLB, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna delete that. This is some of these names I have old drawings on, obviously. COP looks interesting. COP might be interesting. Look at that. Maybe you could start like building a long-term position in COP here. I like the strong push. You'd want to, what I would want is a come back down or retest off of that, create a higher low, and then breaks a, make at least test the new higher high. Just in a range, CVX, DBN, OKE, SWTX, CAH. Woo! You guys want a long? Looks pretty strong. I'm not longing. This could be a long name though. XOM, PBR, CVNA. Okay. Let me pop through these real quick. So these names, FSLR, so TAN names, solar names are looking rather weak. I would be curious. So FSLR and whatever the other one was. What was it? Run. That's what it was. Run. We'll see if those ones to break lower. I actually kind of really like those. Okay. All right. Here is one last look. 30 names for the week. I'm gonna have to probably clean that up, but these are names that I'm certainly looking for. Run and FSLR might be my favorite, just simply because of the consolidations that they have near the lows. But there you go. That's how I do it. There's my short list. Let me just scroll for you one more time. Manage your risk, stay safe. Don't get chopped up. Choose your trades properly, appropriately. Don't feel like you have to rush into anything. All right. Have a good week.